The beauty you seek is already here, waiting for you to see it. Imagine you're standing at the edge of a vast, cluttered room. Your life, perhaps. The air feels heavy with the weight of too many things. Notifications pinging relentlessly. A calendar packed with obligations. A mind swirling with worries about what's next. What's enough? What's missing? You're not alone in this. The modern world presses in, loud and unyielding, whispering that you need more. More stuff, more success, more certainty. But what if the answer isn't in adding, but in letting go? What if the secret to a life of clarity, purpose, and quiet joy lies in a single ancient Japanese concept? Shosin, the beginner's mindset. This isn't about starting over or erasing who you are. It's about seeing the world, and yourself, with fresh eyes, as if for the first time, unburdened by assumptions, expectations, or the noise of what you think you should be. Shosin invites you to rethink life, to strip away the layers of habit and hurry, and to rediscover a simpler, more intentional way of being. It's a gentle revolution, one that promises not just peace, but a profound sense of freedom. Let's walk this path together, exploring how this mindset can transform the way you live, love, and find meaning in a world that often feels like it's moving too fast. Shosin, at its core, is a Zen Buddhist concept, its roots tracing back to the teachings of 13th century monk Dogen, who emphasized the power of approaching life with openness and curiosity. The word itself breaks apart into sho, beginning, and shin, mind or heart, a linguistic nod to the idea of returning to a state of pure potential. It's the mind of a child picking up a paintbrush for the first time, unconcerned with perfection, unafraid of mistakes, simply present in the act of creation. In Zen practice, Shosin is the antidote to the arrogance of expertise, the rigidity of knowing. It's a call to let go of preconceived notions and embrace each moment as new, each experience as an opportunity to learn. But this isn't just a monastic ideal reserved for monks in quiet temples. Shosin speaks directly to you, to the overwhelm of your daily life, to the moments when you feel stuck, disconnected, or weighed down by the pressure to have it all figured out. It's a philosophy that transcends time and culture, offering a way to navigate the chaos of modern existence with grace and intention. Picture yourself rushing through a typical morning. Your phone buzzes with emails before you've even had coffee. Your to-do list looms like a mountain, and your mind is already racing to tomorrow's deadlines. This is where Shosin begins to work its magic. Instead of approaching the day with the assumption that you know how it will unfold, or that it's bound to be stressful, what if you paused and met it with a beginner's mind? What if you looked at your routine, your relationships, even your struggles, as if encountering them for the first time? This shift in perspective is deceptively simple, yet it holds the power to unravel the knots of stress, doubt, and distraction that tangle your life. Shosin isn't about ignoring your experience or pretending you're naive. It's about choosing to see beyond the filters of habit, to release the grip of judgment, and to approach each moment with curiosity and presence. It's about asking, what can this teach me? Instead of, why is this happening again? In today's world, the need for Shosin is more urgent than ever. You're bombarded with information, news, ads, social media posts, all vying for your attention. Consumerism whispers that happiness lies in the next purchase, the bigger house, the shinier gadget. Work demands constant productivity, while your personal life pulls you in a dozen directions. It's easy to feel like you're drowning in expectations, like you're running on a treadmill that never stops. Financial anxiety creeps in when bills pile up or savings dwindle. Digital distraction keeps you tethered to screens, scrolling past moments you might otherwise savor. And beneath it all, there's a quiet ache, a longing for meaning, for connection, for a life that feels like it belongs to you. Shosin offers a way out, not by escaping these realities, but by reframing how you engage with them. It's a minimalist approach to the mind, a decluttering of mental habits that lets you focus on what truly matters. Consider the story of Sarah, a 34-year-old marketing manager who felt trapped in a cycle of burnout. Her days were a blur of meetings, emails, and the pressure to always be on. At home, she was distracted, her mind racing even during dinner with her family. She bought self-help books, tried meditation apps, but nothing stuck. Then, she stumbled across Shosin in a workshop. At first it seemed too simple. How could beginner's mind solve her chaos? But she decided to try. One morning, instead of diving into her phone, she sat with her coffee and asked herself, what if I don't know what this day holds? What if I approach it like it's my first day on the job? She noticed the warmth of the mug, the sound of birds outside, the way her daughter's laughter filled the room. At work, she listened to her colleagues without assuming she knew their ideas already. She asked questions, stayed open, and let go of the need to control every outcome. Slowly, the weight lifted. Sarah's story isn't unique. It's a glimpse of what Shosin can do when you let it reshape your perspective. The benefits of embracing Shosin are as vast as they are profound, touching every corner of your life. Mentally, it's like opening a window in a stuffy room. By letting go of assumptions, you create space for clarity and creativity. You're less likely to spiral into overthinking or self-criticism because you're not judging yourself against some imagined standard of perfection. Imagine sitting down to write a report at work. Instead of thinking, I'm terrible at this, you approach it with curiosity. What can I learn from this task today? The task becomes less daunting, even enjoyable. Emotionally, Shosin fosters resilience. When you meet setbacks with a beginner's mind, you're less likely to see them as failures and more as opportunities to grow. A fight with a friend becomes a chance to listen deeply, to understand their perspective without the baggage of past arguments. Physically, Shosin can ease the toll of stress. Chronic tension, those tight shoulders, that clenched jaw, often stems from a mind that's always racing ahead or dwelling on the past. By anchoring you in the present, Shosin helps your body relax. Picture yourself stuck in traffic. Instead of fuming, you take a deep breath and notice the world around you, the colors of the sky, the rhythm of your breath. Your heart rate slows, your muscles soften. Spiritually, Shosin reconnects you to a sense of wonder. It's easy to lose sight of life's beauty when you're buried in routine, but a beginner's mind invites you to see the sacred in the ordinary. A walk in the park becomes a meditation on the way leaves dance in the wind, a reminder that you're part of something larger. In relationships, Shosin transforms how you connect. Think about your partner, your parent, or your closest friend. How often do you assume you know what they're thinking or feeling? Shosin asks you to listen as if it's the first time, to ask questions without expecting answers you've heard before. This openness deepens intimacy and dissolves misunderstandings. At work, Shosin makes you a better collaborator. Instead of clinging to your ideas, you're open to others' perspectives, which sparks innovation and builds trust. Even your relationship with money shifts. Financial anxiety often comes from comparing yourself to others or fearing you're not enough. Shosin encourages you to approach your finances with fresh eyes, to focus on what you truly need and value, rather than what society tells you to chase. Environmentally, Shosin aligns with sustainability. When you approach consumption with a beginner's mind, you question whether you need that new gadget or fast fashion outfit. You start to value quality over quantity, choosing items that last and serve a purpose. This mindset extends to time too. Instead of filling every moment with busyness, you ask, what's essential right now, and let go of the rest. Creatively, Shosin is a wellspring. Artists, writers, and innovators know the paralyzing fear of the blank page. But with a beginner's mind, you embrace the unknown, trusting that mistakes are part of the process. You're free to experiment, to play, to create without the pressure of perfection. Contrast this with the default mode of modern life. Without Shosin, you might approach each day with a fixed mindset, assuming you know how things will go. You rush through tasks, half present, missing the small joys. You cling to old habits, even when they no longer serve you. You buy things to fill a void, only to feel emptier. You argue with loved ones, stuck in patterns of blame. You scroll through social media, comparing your life to curated highlight reels. This way of living is heavy, unsustainable, a recipe for burnout and disconnection. Shosin, on the other hand, is light. It's not about erasing your past or ignoring your expertise. It's about holding it loosely, staying open to new possibilities. It's a path to balance, harmony, and a life that feels like yours. So how do you bring Shosin into your life? The beauty of this mindset is that it's accessible, requiring no special tools or grand gestures. Start small, with intention. Begin your day with a simple pause. Before you check your phone or dive into your routine, take 3 deep breaths and ask, how can I meet this day with fresh eyes? This tiny ritual sets the tone for mindfulness. Try it tomorrow morning, sitting by a window or even in bed. Notice the air on your skin, the sounds around you. Let the moment feel new. Next, practice curiosity in one daily activity. 1. If you're eating breakfast, approach it like it's your first time tasting oatmeal or sipping tea. Notice the texture, the warmth, the flavors. If you're walking to work, look at your surroundings as if you've never seen them before. Count the shades of green in the trees or the patterns in the pavement. This exercise trains your mind to stay open, to find wonder in the mundane. You can extend this to conversations. The next time you talk to a colleague or friend, listen without assuming you know what they'll say. Ask a question you've never asked before, like, what's something you've learned recently? Or, what's been on your mind? These small acts of curiosity build deeper connections. Another practice is journaling with a beginner's mind. Set aside 5 minutes each evening to write about your day, but instead of recounting events, focus on what surprised you, what you noticed for the first time, or what you learned. For example, you might write, I noticed how tense I get in meetings when I assume I need to have all the answers. What if I asked more questions instead? This reflection helps you identify habits and assumptions that hold you back. If journaling feels daunting, start with a single sentence. The key is consistency, not perfection. To deepen Shosin, try a first-time challenge. Once a week, do something familiar in a new way. If you always cook the same pasta dish, experiment with a new ingredient. If you take the same route to the store, try a different path. These small shifts disrupt autopilot, reminding you that every moment holds potential for discovery. You can also apply this to bigger goals. If you've always wanted to learn a skill but feel intimidated, approach it with Shosin. Sign up for that guitar lesson or coding class, not to become an expert, but to explore. Tell yourself, I'm here to learn, not to be perfect. Challenges will arise. Your mind will resist, clinging to old patterns. You might feel silly pretending to see things anew, or you might worry you're doing it wrong. That's okay. Shosin isn't about getting it right, it's about staying open. When resistance creeps in, acknowledge it gently. Say to yourself, I notice I'm feeling stuck. What can I learn from this? If you're overwhelmed, scale back. Instead of trying Shosin in every moment, pick one interaction or task to approach with curiosity. If you forget to practice, don't judge yourself. Each day is a fresh chance to begin again. Another hurdle is the pressure to know everything. Society rewards certainty, expertise, the appearance of having it all together. Shosin asks you to embrace not knowing, which can feel vulnerable. To ease this, remind yourself that curiosity is a strength. Think of the most inspiring people you know. They're often the ones who ask questions, who admit they're still learning. You can also lean on mindfulness techniques to stay grounded. When you feel the urge to control or judge, pause and focus on your breath for 10 seconds. This creates space for a beginner's mind to emerge. Weaving in related ideas deepens Shosin's impact. The concept echoes mindfulness, the practice of being fully present without judgment. It aligns with minimalism, which prioritizes what's essential over excess. It resonates with the Stoic idea of focusing on what you can control and letting go of the rest. Even the psychological principle of growth mindset, believing your abilities can evolve, parallels Shosin's emphasis on learning over perfection. These connections remind you that Shosin isn't an isolated idea, but part of a broader tapestry of wisdom, one that's been guiding people toward fulfillment for centuries. Let's return to a story to see Shosin in action. Meet James, a 42-year-old father and accountant who felt like life was slipping through his fingers. His job was secure but uninspiring. His evenings spent scrolling or worrying about bills. He loved his kids but often snapped at them, too distracted to connect. One day, feeling particularly lost, he read about Shosin and decided to experiment. He started with his commute. Instead of zoning out to podcasts, he looked out the train window, noticing the way light hit the buildings, the faces of strangers. At work, he approached a tedious spreadsheet with curiosity, asking, "What can this teach me about patience?" At home, he listened to his son's stories about school without interrupting or assuming he knew the ending. Over weeks, James felt lighter. His work didn't change, but his relationship to it did. His kids noticed his presence, and their laughter filled the house more often. James's journey shows that Shosin doesn't require a dramatic overhaul, just small, intentional shifts that ripple outward. As you weave Shosin into your life, you'll notice subtle changes. The world will feel less heavy, more vibrant. You'll find joy in moments you once overlooked, a stranger's smile, the crunch of leaves underfoot, the quiet satisfaction of a task done with care. You'll feel less pressure to have all the answers, more freedom to explore. Your relationships will deepen as you listen with fresh ears, love with an open heart. Your work, even if it's not your passion, will become a canvas for growth. You'll consume less, not out of deprivation, but because you realize how little you need to feel whole. This is the abundance of Shosin, not an excess of things, but a richness of experience, a life aligned with what matters most. Now, as you stand at the edge of this moment, consider what Shosin could mean for you. You don't need to have it all figured out. You don't need to be perfect or certain. All you need is the willingness to begin, to look at this day, this breath, this life, with the eyes of a beginner. What might you discover if you let go of what you think you know? What might you create if you trusted the process, embraced the unknown, and allowed yourself to learn? The path to a simpler, more intentional, more fulfilling life isn't out there in some distant future. It's here, in the way you choose to meet this moment. Take a breath. Ask yourself, what can I learn right now? And then, with curiosity and courage, step forward. The world is waiting to surprise you, 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 is waiting to surprise you.